Hello Libras, welcome to Souls Intersect. I have your September of 2016 intuitive tarot reading. I just wanted to let you know that I'm using this larger spread to give you a better idea of what my readings are like. Obviously for those, I'd be answering a specific question of yours, but I tend to use a larger spread when I do that, so I just wanted to give you a feel for that. Please let me know if you like it, and if you're interested in a private reading, please email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. I'm also running a special. I've started it already, and it will continue through the month of September. It's $35 only for either a past life reading or a 20-minute intuitive tarot reading, and those are done as videos. All right, so feel free to email me if you're interested, or you can book directly through my site, and the link is below. Okay, so the card propped up on the right is from the bottom of the deck. It's the Knight of Swords. I feel that for some of you it's a person. I feel that for others it's a theme, and I'm going to come back to it, but I'm sensing that one thing, because you have the Seven of Wands in the center, it's feeling like a little bit of putting up protection around yourself. And so I think in terms of a theme, it feels like it just seems like a nod to you to definitely put up protection around yourself about whatever's happening. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. There's going to be different topics for different viewers, but that it feels like it's a nod to that, saying that it's a good idea to do that because the risk otherwise might be to rush forth into something. And then for others of you, I do feel that this is a person, possibly younger, and someone who also may be trying to rush you into something or encourage you towards something in a way that might feel a little bit pushy right now. It's not necessarily negative, it feels like different speeds. You're maybe running at different speeds than someone for the time being. Okay, and I'll come back to that card as well. But again, the center, which is really central to this 9-card spread, is very much about boundaries, possibly slowing down around something, or putting up protection. It may be spiritual protection for some of you. Seeing the Ace of Cups, I'm getting the sense that some of you may be feeling more sensitive recently in terms of maybe your own intuition, sensitivity. Maybe some of you are empaths. The Ten of Wands also is, I'm feeling that also in this diagonal with the Ten of Wands. There may have been an influx for some of you with intuition, psychic abilities, and I feel like the star is confirming that as well. So that may be where you're learning to put up some protections. But it could also be boundaries with a person, or just protecting yourself from trying to go to any extremes too much. I do feel like with the 10 of Swords and then the 9 of Pentacles on the other side of it, that there's some recovery happening from, this doesn't feel like too much of an extreme ending, though it might be for a few of you. And it could be, that being stabbed in the back type of thing. But for some of you, it just feels like a completion of a phase of something that never felt like it was giving back to you what you were giving it. I feel like I may have said that before for Libra a couple of months ago, something about maybe a partner where it just always felt like you were not getting from it what you needed, and that it always felt a little bit like those swords, like even promises about that person promising that they would deliver on things, and those are those individual swords, and so many of those things weren't delivered, and you felt pretty stabbed in the back from it. So some of you may have left something, some of you may still be in it. I definitely feel that. Some of you may be in a situation that feels like what I just described, and for some of you it could just be more a thought pattern or some habits that were not working out for you, or you realize that they were not healthy or not beneficial for you, and that has come to completion. I do get the sense that the Ace of Cups was a very healing energy that came through to help ease whatever that Ten of Swords was. But that naturally you put up some defenses with the Seven of Wands. The Nine of Pentacles coming up does tell me that some of you did probably go from a partnership into being alone, but also for others of you, I feel that it's speaking to who you are at the core. This vibrant, bright individual, and someone who has a lot of gifts. And I feel like that's also going to be for those of you who may be feeling like you've had an influx of your own psychic abilities recently. Looking at the column with the Two of Pentacles, I wanted to say first that the Nine of Pentacles and this Knight of Swords came up, I believe it was just in the Virgo reading. So check that out if you know a Virgo, or if you have Virgo rising or as your moon sign. There's something about that, and I'm picking up a little bit of similarity in the themes. So check that out. But with the Two of Pentacles and then the Seven of Wands and this column here with the Star, I do get the sense that there is a couple things, a balance that you're being called upon to try to perfect. And it is between that possible speed of rushing forward with something and your defenses. I do feel that something is being put in your path that is divine. It could be a person, could be related to this Knight of Swords. It could be a new path for you, something that may be pretty different from the traditional. I'm seeing this Hierophant and the Nine of Pentacles as almost opposite creatures here. One kind of pulling you backward towards something, this may be work related too, towards something that is just what you thought you were supposed to do with your life, or something that feels more traditional. And then the Nine of Pentacles being the opposite, something that you create yourself from scratch, that you build up from the core, from the root, and watch blossom all on your own, something that you know with confidence and with full trust in yourself that you created on your own. And so that may be something that's still coming too, but the balance does feel like a couple of things. So between that tradition and then that opposite, which just feels like this more like grassroots, creative purity, those aren't exactly opposites, but I'm just feeling them as counterparts of each other in some way. You being inspired to do something independent because of wanting to get away from that sense of tradition, or something that felt too stiff to you. And then the other balance being the speed versus going a little bit more slowly and keeping up your defenses. Because I feel that I feel energetically that you're being encouraged to move forward, but to pace yourself. So be careful not to focus too much on this, what I'm getting from the Seven of Wands, where you may fight something off just because it feels new or different. I do feel like it's being put in your path to encourage you to move forward with it. And I'll look at some possibilities of that in a moment, but I do feel it from this Star card. And both with the Six of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, I'm getting that sense of balance. With Three Pentacles cards, I do feel that there is some for some of you, I do feel this is going to be related to work. And I'm picking up that somebody may have had a shift in like ownership of a company, or a policy or approach or view to something that's changing. And it's giving you more independence and more flexibility. And with that, though, I feel that there may be some risk. So it kind of feels like you're being encouraged to be more creative and do things more independently. But there's a reminder that there still exists that base of power and tradition in whatever this is it almost feels like it might be a religious institution or a religious university or something like that, to be careful not to be too speedy in embracing that creativity and independence that you've been given recently, because just try to balance it, because it does feel like there's that tradition that's still there, so some strictness that still exists in the policies that you might not be aware of, or it might be like someone's encouraging you to, they want to see how independent you'll be and how much of a self-starter you'll be, but they feel not 100% honest, like they almost want to see how much you'll take that on, and then maybe even give you negative feedback for doing it too strongly or something like that. So if there's been any changes in anyone's work environment, again, either in approach or ownership or setup, something like along those lines, department changes, and it feels like there may be more freedom in some way, just be careful. I believe that there is, but I also feel like someone's watching who wants to make sure that things are done in moderation. So that's the sense I'm getting from some of those cards. I want to look at the bottom row together, the Six of Pentacles, the Star, and the Ten of Wands. So a similar feeling, it feels a lot like that there may be something new. It may feel like too much, but the Star is reminding us that it's there for a reason. Too much in the sense of not necessarily too much work, but too much for you to take on right now, because there may be some of that Ten of Swords lingering. It may have kind of converted into this Ten of Wands more, but it still feels like you need some time. It may seem like too soon that something's coming in for you. It may be related to that work situation, but this feels a little bit more a relationship, related to a relationship theme. And it could be this Knight of Swords person. It feels like someone who's quick-witted and is funny, and also could be not necessarily manipulative, but really works well with their mind, and maybe a little tricky sometimes. It doesn't have to be negative, but it might feel more brash to you than usual, because again, there's some sensitivity from whatever this past Ten of Swords thing was. So it coming in may feel a little bit too much in that sense. Like you may not feel ready. That's why the Seven of Wands is the theme. And in that case, I just want to remind you that the Star is there. And you do have a choice, because that Two of Pentacles is definitely bringing that energy into this column. So you do have a choice. And I feel like if it's not something you can take on right now, then it will either come back or something will come in its place. So you do have a choice, but there's still this message coming through that it is being put there for a reason, and it wouldn't be put there right now if you weren't able to take it on and embrace it and learn that balance that is available in that Six of Pentacles. And that's also you, Libra. You're really good at that. I know it's a Pentacles card, but we do still see that scale, and it's very much about balancing. And so that's something that you're clever at. So although it might feel like a little bit of something weighing you in one direction and not being ready to let something else pull you in another direction, you do have what it takes to do that. And again, this is happening for a reason. It may also be a new job opportunity for some of you. May feel a little burdensome, but is something you can definitely take on. You have all of the gifts available to deal with it. Okay, Libra, so I'm going to stop this here. Again, for the rest of August and through September, $35 only for my 20-minute reading, which is done by video. You can ask 2 questions for that, and I would usually do that in 2 parts. And it's also $35 for a past life reading. And there's a sample past life reading that I'll also paste below. All right, soulsintersect@gmail.com. Thank you, Libras.